Hey everybody, Brian here again. Today I figured I would take a crack at showing you how I do some of the lightsabers and props that I make. Mostly PVC materials and a few other items that I've gotten from dollar store and hardware stores. Really inexpensive stuff, very sturdy and very safe for little kids and even to take around with your everyday costuming. So take a look. The first thing I always do when I'm constructing one is to draw up just a simple blueprint of what I want it to look like. Now, this can be as simple as 3 pieces. This could be as intricate as 100 pieces. But really, truly, for me, it always helps to kind of lay it out and give an idea of what I want it to look like. You can research online, Google lightsaber hilt, and a billion, million pages of lightsaber hilts pop up. Very few of them are similar. None are the same. A lot of it boils down to preference and how creative people get. I've maybe drawn up about 10 different ones, some based off of real Star Wars lightsaber props that they've had in the movies, some that are just completely off the wall. This is the first one I drew up. Pretty simple, just a few pieces. I'll put that available in the comments. If anybody's interested in that, just to save some time, email me. I can send you what I have. Any of the ones you want, by all means, you're welcome to have them. Really helps you with the measurements and everything, kind of gives you an idea beforehand what your pieces are going to look like individually. After you've decided what you want your lightsaber hilt to look like on paper, one of the things that helps me personally to translate it from paper to product is to make a small stencil out of it using a cardboard tube. A lot of times when you're doing your measurements, you can try to go freehand it onto the PVC. It's just very, very difficult to work with it. For me, I don't have a lot of the proper tools that you would use to work on PVC with. So this really helps to get your basic outline transferred from paper to the PVC. I've probably got, 30 rolls of paper towel rolls sitting around that I've just collected from the house the last 3 months. You'd be surprised how quickly you go through it. But that is an additional step that's not required, but it really helps to make a better end product. For the PVC pipe, you can get this in, I think, 2-foot increments at Lowe's, Home Depot, pretty much any hardware store for next to nothing. I mean, it's like $2 per pipe. You can get 15-foot pipe for like $7. It's really inexpensive, really sturdy, works well with pretty much any kind of cutting tool that you have for any kind of a rotary tool. Or they sell a small PVC cutting little device here, and it just helps you open up and ratchet down onto the PVC. Really useful tool. I would recommend getting that, or you can have them pre-cut if you know the sizes, they will pre-cut it for you there at no additional charge. You're going to want to get a 1 1/4 inch diameter pipe for the sheath. And then for your base, you're going to want a 1-inch pipe. I'm just going to use some of the pieces I had left over from scrap projects that never came around or that I messed up on. This one's okay. It's got a little slant angle on it for the design I had in mind. So I'm going to try that one out. Along with the PVC, if you want to add a little bit of extra to it, you can go to the Dollar Tree or Dollar General, and they sell these little LED flashlights. I think this one's a 5-bulb flashlight, $1.09. Perfect for having a little bit of extra lighting to it, especially if you want to go out and get a blade later on. I actually supplied a few of these for some people at Halloween, and their kids used them as just a little flashlight without the blade in them. They loved them running around, scaring other kids and waving them, pretending they were real lightsabers. Really, really fun to watch. But later on, if you do want to end up making it a little more quality, or use it for, if you want to use it for film or just as part of a prop or a costume or anything like that, you can always add the flashlight very easily. Fits right inside of the 1-inch tube. You can even take, if you want to take like a little bit of foam and craft foam and just wrap it around the side and just kind of shove it in there, holds it in place very firm. I've gone outside and just destroyed trees in the yard with these things with the lights in them, and it still holds up. So really helpful.
Do or do not. There is no try.
The first thing you're going to want to do when you're putting it together is sand down the PVC, the little shiny layer on the outside. You can keep it, like I said, the painting is totally optional depending on what you want to do with it. This one's already painted gold. The spray paint got a little runny because I didn't shake it well enough beforehand, and a lot of it clumped up and threw it down. So I'm going to go back later and sand all this off and repaint it. But for the purposes of today, I'm just going to go ahead and show you kind of what I've already cut out. Measured out all the pieces, cut them out, slides right over pretty snug to it. Later on, you can attach the individual pieces if you end up with something that needs a little more support. Just take any kind of small screw. I will caution you, if you do screw through these, the screw can sometimes split the PVC, so I would suggest either boring a small hole through it, use as small screws as you can to attach them. I'm sure there's infinitely better ways. I know there's certain types of PVC glues and fastening items that you can use, but I always just use the metal screws just because it kind of gives it a little more authentic look, and they're easier to paint. But the way I have mine designed to go together here is these two pieces at the front. I have a smaller end piece that is very common fitting for the PVC. That one's going to go on the end here, and I'm going to screw another end cap on here. What I'm going to show you is how to measure the PVC piece that's missing here that'll round out our handle. Like I said, very easy to get it. Just going to want you a handy dandy tape measure and your PVC. I'm pretty sure you don't know or don't need to be told how to measure, so I'm going to pause real quick, cut the piece, and show you the fitting. Now, after you cut your PVC piece, you may notice that I did not use any kind of clamps to keep my pipe in place. So one of the things you will run into with the PVC cutter is sometimes it will not make a perfectly straight incision. Now, for the purposes of today, that's fine. It's not a big deal. I have a rotary tool that I will shape this out with. You can do yourself a justice and save a little bit of time and get you one of the better PVC cutters that have a grip on it to keep a straighter edge, and I think you'll also have one that you can cut at an angle, which really comes in handy when you want to add a little bit of extra character to your lightsaber hilt. Just for now, I'm going to pop this on here, make sure it's the right size, and it's looking like it's going to be pretty close, even with the tip. Yeah, it's going to be fine. So what we'll do next, since we've made sure it fits, we've still got this glossy coat on the outside of it. So we're going to sand it down. The grit of the paper is not, it's not a big of a factor. It's a lot of it's dependent on how you want your lightsaber to look. I wanted this one to look a little more rugged, so I went with a lower grade of sandpaper. I think it was 80 grit. I'd have to look to be sure. If you want it to be a little more polished look to it, I would go with a higher grade sandpaper. It really just boils down to what you're looking for to make your blade. And really, truly, you don't have to sand these. I do it because it makes the paint stick a lot better, and it gives it a little more wear and tear look once you've completed it. So we're going to go sand this and paint it, and then show you at the end what it will eventually look like. to kind of give you an idea of what your finished product should look like, I've got one of the first lightsabers I made. I actually made this one for my fiance. I'm probably gonna actually use the one that we've been seeing in the video for hers. Mostly, I just didn't like some of the things I did on this one. The main thing was there's a little clear cylinder I found that I was able to put the flashlight and the blade in. You'll notice the blade here is it's a really strong little lightsaber blade. I think this one's actually for practical usage if you want to go out and have a lightsaber fight with your friends. I would suggest staying indoors. People will make fun of you unless they're cool, and then they won't make fun of you because they're on the know. But this one, I've actually installed the flashlight here at the end and covered it with a little piece of plastic that comes on the I think it's polycarbonate tubing. I ordered the polycarbonate tubing from a guy online. I'll see if I can find his information and put it in the comment section as well. Works pretty well. The flashlight lights up. It's got pretty good light on it. I'll have the lights here so you can kind of see a little bit better. Pretty good glow on it. It's a good solid first attempt for them. One of the fun things about these are, even if you don't like what you got, the time and the effort that you put into it really makes it worth it that you've kind of learned how to make the next one better. A lot of people that have come over and have seen some of these have really been, they're like, oh my God, I love the design. And I'm like, well, there's some things I like about it. It's kind of like anything you make, you're going to see only the flaws in it. But I have grown to really appreciate all the different lightsabers I've made now, because each one of them has been a stepping stone to kind of see where I want to go for the next one. But pretty much this is what you'll end up with. Painting, I would suggest any paint that you buy, easiest thing to do is spray paint. Make sure that the spray paint is some sort of a plastic, that it will stick to plastic. It should say right on the bottle that it's approved for plastic. A lot of them now are for wood, metal, plastics, all that kind of stuff, especially Krylon brands. You can do, I've seen a lot of people that do airbrush there. They are a little more advanced. When I say a little, I mean light years. Star Wars reference. Light years ahead of where I'm at right now. One thing I have found that is a really, really cool little thing that you can put to it is called Rub and Buff with a wax metallic finish. You pretty much just take it, comes a little tube. This little tube will cover 20 square foot of whatever you're painting. I've done everything from Nerf guns to the lightsabers. I made a Master Chief costume for Halloween and conventions. You can kind of see I did little gold and silver paint job on this Nerf gun. The stuff works really, really well, and it especially works best in conjunction with other paints. I have the gold and the silver for they're kind of a tarnished gold and a tarnished silver look to them, so they kind of look a little more weathered. Really helps with the weathering. I would suggest if you're wanting to really get into detail on painting, check out some painting tutorials, some really great ones out there. Otherwise, you've got all the tools that you need to make your first lightsaber hilts. And please, please, by all means, if you have your own that you make after watching this tutorial, share them with me. If you have any helpful insight on new techniques to do things, I'm all for it. It's a really great kind of hobby I've found, especially price-wise. You can't beat the material cost. You can go out there and you can spend $100,000, or you can spend 20 and still come up with a great product if you really put your mind to it and put some effort into it. Everybody have a great day, and hopefully we'll be back here pretty soon with more tutorials.